One who came out today to honor Sergeant Pyeatt. I did not know Sergeant Pyeatt, but I've known men like Sergeant Pyeatt. They were the men who, when our country needed them, stood up and said, "I will go." They were the men who, when their service called upon them, said, "I will lead." And they are the type of men who, when they were in harm's way, leading men into danger, said, "I will go first." An exceptional young man, and exceptional parents that raised such a young man. With that being said, I'll now turn it over to Mr. Watson.
It's an honor for me to get to say a few words concerning Sergeant Lucus Pyeatt. Sergeant Pyeatt is the son of Scott and Cindy Pyeatt and the brother of Emily Smalley. Lucas lived in Virginia for 9 years. He traveled a lot because he's a member of a military family. But Lucas always considered Newport News his home. He's a 2004 graduate of Woodside High School, where he played string bass in our school's orchestra. He was an avid member of the Boy Scouts of America, and he was a member of the Order of the Arrow. He earned his rank of Eagle Scout and was an assistant scoutmaster. He enlisted in the United States Marine Corps in 2007, and he entered the cryptologic linguistic program where he studied Russian and Pashto language. I'm going to read his decorations. They include the Purple Heart, the Director of National Intelligence Medal of Valor, the Combat Action Ribbon, the Navy and Marine Corps Achievement Medal, the Good Conduct Medal, the Global War on Terrorism Medal, the Sea Service Ribbon, the Iraq-Afghanistan Campaign Medal, and the National Defense Service Ribbon. In November of 2011, Luke's name became the 165th added to the Director of the National Security Agencies to the 166 others on the NSA Cryptologic Memorial Wall of Heroes. He was laid to rest February 28, 2011 at Arlington National Cemetery. As a high school guidance counselor, there are some students that hold a special memory for you. And Lucas was one of those students for me. I remember the first time I met Lucas. We got talking about his plans for after high school, and as we plan out his future educational classes and such, we discovered that we both had this real love for history. And each time we met to discuss his plans for after high school, it always seemed to go back to our mutual love for local history and history in general. In particular, I remember our discussing how much he enjoyed his time at Enview Plantation. This is where he earned his Eagle Scout Award. And we would talk about it quite a bit. He would come by and I'd always ask him how things were going, and he would talk about how much he enjoyed coming over here and volunteering. He really enjoyed physically helping to preserve and maintain local history. And I want to thank everyone who came out today to honor this young man. It's hard for me to talk about, but it was a real honor to know Sergeant Lucus Pyeatt. And at this time, I want to say how proud I am to have gotten to know him. I'm going to invite Mr. John Boyles, our magnet director, and the chorus to come forward and sing a little tribute for us.
Now for the unveiling of the bench. I'd like to invite Kathy Dimerno and Dave Reed. Kathy is Director of Guidance for Woodside High, and Dave is the Woodside SCA sponsor. I don't want to put you on the spot, but would either of you like to say anything before the unveiling, or just go ahead and do the unveiling? Okay, we'll go ahead and do the unveiling. I'd like to recognize Lucas's parents for traveling so far to attend. We hope this bench is and the spot is to your liking. We thought it was nice to be surrounded by this little grove of trees. We'd like everyone to stay and mingle after this ceremony. There's some refreshments, and it's a beautiful day, so feel free to stay as long as you like. And I'd be remiss on my job as historic site coordinator if I don't say that if you haven't visited the historic house, you're welcome to do so also. The next tour will be at 11 and 11:30, so feel free to go in and learn some about the history and what drew Lucas to the history of Enview as well. So feel free to go in for a complimentary tour of the house as well. Before we conclude, just one last thing I'd like to present. So Mrs. Pyeatt with the training program. We hope you come back often when you're here to visit. Yes. Thank you so much. And with that, I guess this concludes the ceremony. Please come up and take a closer look at the bench, and again, enjoy the refreshments as well. And if anyone else in the audience would like to come up and speak or say something about Sergeant Pyeatt, please feel free as well. But that concludes the ceremony.